Hey kids, Uncle Clockwork here. So, another installment of your uncle's comics. Let me take you back to 1996. Back then we had a little event called the Marvel vs. DC crossover. Now this was an event that was sponsored in all the local comic book shops. There was a public opinion poll where they pitted two superheroes, one from DC, one from Marvel, against each other, and have everyone vote on the outcome. It went about like you would expect. So, let me show you what happened. So first they came out with 4 comics, or along the way they came out with 4 comics, and they pitted the superheroes against one another and showed you the outcomes. But then they threw in sort of a little twist at the end that none of us were quite expecting. So, of course, naturally they pitted up Superman versus the Hulk, Batman versus Captain America, Storm versus Wonder Woman. I think they had Aquaman fight Submariner, Flash fight Quicksilver, Shazam fight Thor, Robin fight Jubilee, Catwoman fight Elektra. The list goes on. So they carried this out over the course of several comics, showing you, who won. But then, like I said, they threw in a little bit of a twist. Because as they wrote the story, basically they had 2 universes colliding and meeting, and the champions meeting, and all this other stuff, and then someone decided to really screw things up and merge the 2. They made an Amalgam Universe of DC and Marvel, and they started merging characters. And for 1 year in '96, we had something strange. The Amalgam Universe. So they took Batman and they merged him with Wolverine, and they made the Dark Claw. But the Dark Claw was Logan, and they put Bruce Wayne as Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. Man-Bat and Man-Thing became Bat-Thing. Superman and Captain America. Super Soldier. That was a little too easy, I think. Superboy, Spider-Man. Roughly about the same age. Spider-Boy. They took Wonder Woman and Storm and combined them into Amazon. Iron Man and Green Lantern, Iron Lantern. They started stretching at some points. I mean, Howard the Duck crossing over with Lobo, Lobo the Duck. Now some of it made sense. Thorian of the new Asgards, Asgardians, new gods. Both were created by Jack Kirby. It kind of worked. Now I have to admit, this one was kind of like one of my favorites. Doctor Strange and Dr. Fate. Dr. Strange Fate. Okay, spoiler alert on this one. It ends up being Charles Xavier. It's the only problem I have with it. But other than that, pretty good. Etrigan, the Demon, and Ghost Rider, Speed Demon. Yeah, about as cheesy as it sounds, folks. Magneto and the Magnet Men, which was a play on the Metal Men. It runs about the same, actually. There's really not much difference here. It's just switching up the characters' names and they act about the same. Now this one was kind of interesting. Being an X-Men fan of old, they crossed the Justice League with the X-Men. JLX. Of course, this was the Justice League of the 90s. I don't think Superman or Batman were involved, but Aquaman was sort of leading up, and yeah, well, you can see what happens. And finally, you have X-Patrol, which merges X-Force and Doom Patrol. Being an old Doom Patrol fan myself, I kind of like this one too. But there are a few others that I don't have in my collection. Bullets and Bracelets, I believe, was one of them, where they had basically a non-powered Diana Prince team up with the Punisher, and I can't remember how that flows. I'm sure I'm skipping a couple more, but that's the majority of the Amalgam Universe. It was a crazy, kooky one-shot. Just about all these are one-shot. They never continued a series. It was just the universe came into being. Here you go. And then in the 4th issue of the DC versus Marvel, they separated everything. Put it back the way it was. So there you have it, kids. The DC Marvel contest of 1996. And the formation of the Amalgam Universe. Now, old Uncle Clockwork isn't going to spoil it for you. I'm not going to give you the outcomes of every contest that happened. I'm going to let you have some fun and see if you can figure it out for yourselves. So, until next time, this is Uncle Clockwork, clocking out.